Hello guys, and what is up? It is Striker here, and welcome to Dead by Daylight. I'm going to be giving you guys a bit of a live commentary on a match that I played against Skermz. Now, if you don't know who Skermz is, he's a pretty popular Survivor main on Twitch who likes to be very flashy, likes to give funny commentary. I just so happened to get into a match with him, and I wasn't sure that it was him, of course. I didn't know who I was playing against because he's playing Nancy right now. It's an anonymous user. But I had a feeling that I played against some streamer that was really good at the game. So I went to go see who all was streaming, saw that the Skermz was streaming, went back through his VOD, and saw, of course, as well as the ace that was in this match, I saw that he was in the lobby as well. And sure enough, the last match that they played was my match on Eyrie. So I was like, wow, that's like really cool. And I definitely got rolled this match, and I made a few mistakes. I'll point those out. I see Skermz here, actually, and I'm like, okay, I'll go on a little chase with him, and then he brings me to the first gen, which has 3 survivors working on it. I go for a hit on the net here, because I know that he's taking me to shack, but he's not going to be able to make it a window or the pallet. And then, of course, I go back to the gen, because it's about to pop. I want to apply a little bit more pressure. Try to go for a hit on the Nia here, and of course she has sprint burst, so I look like an idiot. But we don't respect pallets here, so I go right through and get a smack anyways. Try to get a hit on Skermz here as well, but of course he saw that I don't respect pallets, so he drops that one. Goes for a chain blind as well, and here I am stargazing, as he said. It was really funny from his perspective. He was like, this motherfucker, stargazing. And, you know, of course I don't want to get chain blind or bully. Goes for a very confusing maneuver here. Left, right into a spin. Actually makes me hesitate a little bit. You know, I'm a console player. I don't want to get spun. So this is just typical shack play, right? You know, we're both kind of feeling each other out here. Goes for a micro fake here and then actually takes the window, which does catch me by surprise. But I also go for a little mind game of my own here to force him to drop shack pallet. So that worked out pretty well. Now my idea here was I was going to set a trap, and then I was going to go around and see if maybe he panics and goes around the long way, thinking that I would go all the way around. But I forgot that he, of course, can see me through the windows on the left side, so he just waits and he realizes what I'm doing. And then he gets a lot of distance here. Also goes for a slide vault tech, which looks hilarious. Still not sure how you do that, but I know you need a flashlight to do it. I try to go for a little mind game here, it doesn't work, but then he ends up mind gaming himself because he thinks I'm going to double back, but I do not, and that is our first down in the match on Skermz. Trying to see if I have any Scourge hooks nearby. I do see one right here, you can tell because of the black smoke, and I get my first pain res. Unfortunately, I don't get all my stats pain res. I think I only get 2 this match, spoilers. I just saw that gen regress. Unfortunately, that was the one that had the most progress. If I could have gotten that down just a little bit earlier, I could have popped a gen across the map that just popped. I did lose 2 gens, unfortunately. So, I see the ace here. You picked up this trap right here. And I go on a chase with this ace. Takes me to this short wall jungle gem here. I'm not really too bad at looping these, I'd say. I try to chase in a way that makes it to where they have to constantly 50-50. It looks like he's going to go for the pallet here, but actually takes the window instead. Very smart, because it did make me waste a little bit of time there. He thinks I'm going to go the other way because I kind of like looked in the other direction. But no, I was just going to go right through the pallet. I see that he wants me to chase him this way so that, you know, obviously he's able to get to the building side, but I'm going to chase him back this way. I respect this pallet because they already know by now that I don't really respect pallets, so I wasn't going to take a stun there unnecessarily. Try to go for a fake on this pallet here by placing a trap to see if maybe he runs, but he does not. Very smart to wait. And then I actually placed it this time, and I get blinded by the Nia, who's nearby. And then I get stuck on this little bench right here, and I kind of give it like the death stare, like, wow, really? Right in front of my crab goons. Nia's getting ready to take a hit here. I'm not really too worried about it, honestly. I go for it anyways, just because if I don't go for it now, it's obviously going to waste me too much time. These players know what they're doing. At this point, I should have just decommitted from the ace and went for the Nia, but I tried to see if maybe I could, like, get him. Unfortunately, I did not, but I did get this pallet out of him, which is pretty good. So, I consider that enough. and then I go for the Nia. I can still see her scratch marks and her blood trail. She takes me to this pallet right here because I think that she might know that Shaq is trapped. That trap is awful, by the way, but the good thing about it is that if they walk through it, I can also walk through it, and more importantly, they actually have to read that, because if they pull the pallet down, they get vacuumed back into the trap. Went for the same mind game that I did on Skermz, and it worked here. Skermz is actually coming in for a save right now, but you can't see he's going into Shaq right now, and then he sees that I'm turned the other way, so he runs away. And I make a risk here by going all the way to the main building hook, but I know that I have just enough time to make it. Tries to go for a little blind on me here, it does not work. And at this point, I hear the ace and I hear the knit scream, so I'm like looking around. I hear the Jin's pretty progressed right now. I go up the stairs here. I see the Nick. I also see Skermz, but I'm not going to chase him again. I already chased him before. So I keep going for the Nick here, which was actually a bad play. Turns out the Nick had balanced landing, which you can see here. It wasted a little bit of my time. Probably would have been more efficient to go for Skermz at this point. He drops a pallet on me here. I probably could have actually swung at him. I wasn't expecting him to get stuck on the rock there. But, at that point, I'm so close to hook, so I'm, like, kind of patrolling the area now. I see Ace here, and then I go for a hit on him. And I know I have just enough time to swing around and get a hit on the Ace here so that they can't body block. And I was really hoping the Nia would step in that trap. I kind of want to wait out borrow time here. But on the off chance that she has, you know, actual borrowed time, I just hit her and, you know, get rid of her endurance. So I know that Skermz really wants that blind, so I check behind me just to make sure he's not following me, because I thought I heard him. Sure enough, I did. And right here, this is probably my second biggest blunder. Right here, aside from, you know, committing to the ace for too long, so I guess you can consider it third. I think he's going to go for a CJ here, so I'm kind of waiting around to see if he tries to go for it. And honestly, in my opinion, I did nothing wrong here. He should have went for the CJ. A CJ is something that you go for, and if you fell it, whatever. But if you don't go for it, you'll never know if you would have hit it anyways. So, definitely criminal. If you're wondering why I swung there, it was a little bit of a mistake. I kind of like had to scratch my nose when I put my hand back on my controller. I kind of bumped it a little bit. Try to see if I can get a hit on here, but I get stuck on the twig, and at that point, I'm like, never mind. Because, dude, the twigs on this map are so bad. They are literally the worst part of this map, in my opinion. Especially if you're playing characters like Hillbilly or Deathslinger or Huntress. They can be awful, man. Or Bubba, even. Like, seriously. You're probably better off looping a Bubba around those twigs than you are the actual pallets around the map. I kid you not. Unfortunately, Skermz made a really, really bad game-causing decision here by bringing me to this side of the map. I get a just barely in time hit on the Nick with Starstruck, and then I down Skermz here. And I'm thinking to myself here, okay, this Jin is almost about to pop, so I'm going to try to take him to that Scourge hook, and then I see everybody coming to bomb this Jin, and I'm like, nope, so I got to hook him right here. And at this point, it's a fight to see if I can get the last two people down, and sure enough, I get the Nia here, and at this point, it's GG if they don't have Unbreakable. I'm chasing the ace here, and hoping that, you know, the Nancy does not have Unbreakable. Go for a little bit of a mind game here. Does not work the first time. I go for it again here in a second, and he fails the 50-50. And at this point, I know I've got him. And I'm sure by now, if they had Unbreakable, they would have already picked themselves up. So at this point, I know it's GG. And that is pretty much the full match in a nutshell. It just kind of all snowballed at the end because of a massive mistake on their part. If Skermz had brought me to any other part of the map, I probably would not have known that they were working on that Jin specifically, and they might have won the game. Because for all I know, both Ace and Nia could have had Adrenaline, and the only person that I could have really chased at that point was maybe Nia, because I knew that she was on Death Hook. But they also could have taken hits, so yeah, very big blunder on their part, and that is really the only reason that I won that game. And I'm well aware of that too, so Other than that, though, I mean, it was a very fun match. The only real big blunders that I made that match again, I think, was the play at Shaq at the beginning. What else? You know, committing to the ace for a little bit too long. Should have went for the Nia after hitting her. And then, of course, like, you know, waiting for the CJ for like a good 10, 15 seconds, however long it was. Definitely not good. But, yeah, still a very fun match regardless, and I would enjoy doing this again sometime. So, I'll see you guys next time.